He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. I am Mark Levin. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. Joe Biden is everything we said he is and everything we know he is. And his behavior should appall everyone. And let me tell you why. Biden is a man who has spent his entire career as a politician, who served in the Senate from the age of 30 to the age of 65, and as vice president, obviously, the last almost 4 years. He's an arrogant know-nothing who believes he is among a handful of privileged few. How dare Paul Ryan even think he can be vice president? How dare Paul Ryan sit at the same desk with him? Biden was petulant. He was out of control. He was rude and arrogant because he's used to be treated like a king. For his entire career, he's been called honorable, senator, and now vice president. He's been pampered. He's exercised enormous power. And he's won election after election in one of the bluest states in the nation. In other words, he's never had a serious challenge to his power. I watched this man and his antics, and I thought of the dictators of the third world, waving their hands and arms around, sneering, showing off, bullying, and dripping with contempt for anybody who would dare to challenge their power. I watched this man and I thought, this is exactly why we need term limits. Not every politician who serves decades in office behaves this way, of course. Some are terrific, but too many aren't. Biden is exactly the kind of politician the founding fathers would have had nothing but disdain for. He couldn't have sat in the same room as the framers. I listened to Biden talk about how he's going to create jobs. The man's been in Washington for nearly 40 years. Look at what he's created. Talks about raising taxes on the rich. He is the rich. He came into public office with nothing, and yet somehow he's now worth millions. And for years he created this myth that he was a man. People would identify him with the average Joe, lunch bucket Joe. He's never carried a lunch bucket his entire life. Came out of law school, was elected to the Wilmington City Council, went straight to the Senate. No lunch bucket. Caviar for that working man. This is a crucial election. It's a crucial time for our country. And Joe Biden showed you no respect whatsoever. The laughing, the interruptions, the sneering, that was aimed at you. Of course, Paul Ryan was sitting next to him. But these debates are for you. These debates are for you to figure out what you want to do, to learn about these characters. And Joe Biden did everything he could to disrupt this process because he personally rejects it. He did everything he could to make it much more difficult for you to learn about the candidates, to learn about him, and to learn about Paul Ryan. As usual, it's about you, disrespecting you. Just like when Obama in Roanoke, Virginia, in July, talked about, well, if you earn this, if you're successful, you didn't do it. When Joe Biden attacks somebody like Paul Ryan, a young man, earnest, hardworking, thoughtful, intelligent, serious, committed to this country, trying to come up with real solutions and reforms, he's attacking you. How dare you, the American people, even consider voting for somebody other than Biden and Obama? And he came on that stage with one thing in mind. I'm going to fill this room with my ego. I'm going to make my presence known. I'm going to take over this discussion. I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to mock. I'm going to distract. And nothing's going to stop me. Like Fidel Castro, like Hugo Chavez, like every other little jerk who thinks he should be running the world. That's who Biden reminded me of. Not a statesman, not a thoughtful politician. You watched him. You heard him. Does the man have integrity? Does he have intelligence? Are we supposed to take him seriously? Tell me, my liberal friends out there, does this not help explain why this administration is such a disaster and a failure? A guy like him sitting in the most crucial decisions this country makes? You know how he came across last night, ladies and gentlemen? As a punk. A punk. I've seen these punks all my life. I come from the same area he comes from. I'm from Pennsylvania. He's the guy at the back of the wedding party, or the back of the bar mitzvah, or the back of whatever you. The guy who's drunk at the back table making all the noise and everybody's saying, whose the hell is that? Oh, that's Joe. That's Joe. Tell me, my liberal friends, you proud of Joe? Think he did a good job? You think our nation benefited from this debate as a result of Joe's behavior? I think Joe humiliated this country in the face of the world. People looking in saying, how the hell can the American people elect a jerk like this? Now, conversely, Paul Ryan is Biden's junior by over 25 years. He was polite. He was respectful. He was serious. He was substantive. He was thoughtful. He was not allowed to complete a thought. His sentences were routinely interrupted by that phony journalist sitting there. Oh, well, she was a war correspondent. Well, good for her. But in this debate, it was pretty obvious. She kept stepping on his statements. Who was the mature person at that table? Was it Biden? Or was it Paul Ryan? Who was the person who you would want helping to lead this nation? Was it Biden or Paul Ryan? Yeah. Waving his arms around like Chavez. All right, Joe. Let me deal with you this way, Joe, in a way that Paul Ryan couldn't. There's Joe. First thing I notice, he walks on the stage, right? He's got that rodeo clown buffoonish smile, his freshly bleached caps, that ghoulish, botched facelift, the obvious plugs on the top of his head. He looked like he was coming out of rehab, this guy. Did he not? He did to me. They had him hidden away for 6 days so the attack dogs could tell him how to attack. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the precipice of a financial disaster. Is this the clown you want as Vice President of the United States? Is this the clown you think can get things done to move this country, quote unquote, forward? I don't think so. Don't serious times require serious people with serious intelligence and serious commitment? I mean, I thought for a while there I was listening to Henny Youngman. Laughing. Oh, 23 million people unemployed. Oh, yeah, that's funny. 48 million people on food stamps. Oh, yeah. 1 in 6 people in poverty. Oh, yeah. $5 trillion in additional debt in 4 years. Very funny. Very funny. $1.7 trillion a year in regulatory costs, killing jobs all over this country. That's another laugher right there. Looming massive tax increases. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Continuing massive home foreclosures. Oh, that's a good one right there. Yeah. Median family income down by over 5%. What about that one? Oh, that's funny, too. The EPA so completely out of control, destroying the industrial heartland in this country. Let's hear that one. Yeah, oh, that's very, very funny. And I can go on. Funny, isn't it? Oh, this guy's a joke a second. Now, folks, I say all the time, we deserve better than this. We deserve better than this. We now have an opportunity to correct course. It's time to send these clowns back home. You know, we're a big country, and there's really a handful of politicians that make these decisions. I would say for Joe Biden, 40 years is enough. I would say for Barack Obama, 2 minutes is enough. Now, people sit here and they look at these debates and they judge them like a baseball game. Who's up and who's down on this question and that question. It's not a baseball game. This is a game for all the marbles. We have incredibly, incredibly difficult issues ahead of us, made much more difficult by Obama and Biden. These men are incapable of leading this country out of the shadows and getting us off our back. They've put us here. Nobody, let me put it to you this way, no citizen with self-respect, after watching that debate, could vote for a ticket with Joe Biden on it. No citizen with self-respect. Joe Biden was mocking our electoral process. He was mocking the debate process. And he was mocking you. He was mocking you. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
But Obama thought this was a great debate performance, and he would. Cut one, go.
I thought Joe Biden was terrific tonight. I could not be prouder of him. I thought he made a very strong case, and I really think that his passion for making sure that the economy grows for the middle class came through. So I'm really proud of him.
There he is on our jet. He's really proud of Biden because Biden's making the case for the middle class. Folks, the middle class should already be prospering. The middle class should already be, benefiting from the fruits of a post-recession period. That's the way it's supposed to work. The middle class shouldn't still be struggling. Well, individuals, of course, but we're talking about a class because that's how we talk in this country now. That's the point, folks. At this time, when Reagan was running for re-election, we had massive job growth. Millions. Mark, what are you talking about? 1.25 million. Millions. They keep pretending they're for the middle class. How so? Obamacare? Obamacare destroys the middle class. Cap and trade destroys the middle class. Class warfare, taxes on the rich, destroys jobs and wealth creation. These are the clowns that are destroying the middle class. We have a smaller middle class today. Smaller. Because of frickin' frack. One man who's been in government for 40 years and that's all he knows. The other man, who's been a radical community rabble-rouser, then a state senator who did nothing, then a senator who did nothing, now a president who's fundamentally transforming America. These are the least two qualified, competent, intelligent human beings to be president and vice president of the United States. We've had two debates now that have demonstrated this conclusively. But the left-wing media, they thought this was great. They're having a blast. Tell me, do these people stand for the quote-unquote middle class too? We have a little montage. Cut 4, go.
He knew he was going to laugh at him throughout the debate, and he laughed at him throughout the debate. I love that. He laughed at him. He laughed.
That's some jerk called Sank Uger. Sank Uger. You know what that sounds like? A new kind of hemorrhoid they discovered. Go ahead.
And I love that strategy.
Honestly, I think that Paul Ryan was very clearly out of his depth on foreign policy.
Oh, stop. That would be Rachel Madcow, the pseudo-intellectual that they put out front there, part of the conga line of freaks over there at MSLSD. Go.
Democrats are psyched that Joe Biden had such a great night.
No, stop. Democrats who like him aren't psyched. They're psychos. Go.
Big issues that matter to the people. Clear victory for Joe Biden.
Joe Biden came in and gave the game that a lot of Democrats wanted from Barack Obama. More of the issues fell in Biden's corner. He was able to take control of more of the debate.
Well,
stop. When is this fraud going to be pushed out of journalism, this George Stephanopoulos? When is this 3-foot-tall, 4-inch fraud, this little dwarf journalist, going to be thrown out of journalism? It's amazing. All these Democrat ideologues posing as journalists. Oh, I want to hear what George Stephanopoulos has to say. That's right, Clinton's hitman. Let's hear what he has to say. Well, Biden, he was great. Oh, they lined up for him. They were great. That's why I tell you, don't listen to these idiots. I'll deal with them myself. Go ahead.
Night because he did what he absolutely had to
Howard
do.
Feynman. Biden
had a tougher thing to do, and he had sort of a dive with more degree of difficulty, more complications, and he executed it well.
Stop. This guy's completely sold out to the left. This fraud, Feynman. There's nothing fine about this man. Go.
Was respectful, and I thought Joe's demeanor was proper, and in fact,
who's that?
I think he came across as the likable Joe that we've got.
Stop.
To know.
That's Elliot Spitzer? Look how they rehabilitate this fool. Elliot Spitzer, we didn't notice you. You had your pants on. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin, the George S. Patton of Talk Radio. Call him at 877-381-3811. That's 877-381-3811.
This entire debate will be forgotten by next Tuesday when we have the next presidential debate. But Romney and his folks can learn from this because some of this will be some of what we see from Obama. And that's okay. Because I don't think people like it. The drones, of course. But I mean normal people. Now, what about the substance of this debate? Well, Biden was a mix of lies and buffoonery and sleight of hand. And I guess our great journalist there, Martha Raddatz, missed most of it. She was too busy honing in on Ryan when he was about to score a few points here and there. And I thought she was very disrespectful to him. Look at this one. Look at this one. Joe Biden's 3 most misleading foreign policy statements. Biden falsely claims he did not vote to invade Afghanistan and Iraq, as the Heritage Foundation points out. Well, he certainly did. I was there. I voted against them, Biden said of the wars. I said, no, we can't afford that. Well, in reality, Biden voted for congressional resolutions, joint resolutions, authorizing the use of force in Afghanistan, September 14, 2001, in Iraq, October 11, 2002. Did he happen to forget that? Did he forget that? He voted for a joint resolution to go to war in Afghanistan and again voted to go to war in Iraq. Did he forget that? Or do these guys just lie about everything, big and small? And where was Martha, the foreign policy expert? She didn't catch that one, did she? Now, what about this Libya stuff? Stuff, you know, the word stuff that the Irish use. Well, let me tell you, we Jews use it too. And the word's not exactly stuff, is it? Biden contradicts state, blames intelligence community for Libya misinformation. Biden flatly contradicted his own State Department testimony, public testimony in front of the House committee, reported all over the TV, but Joe was cloistered. Joe was hidden in an attic where they were beating the talking points into him. And the facial tics, and the arm waving, and how to interrupt and talk over people. So Joe didn't actually get to see the testimony, see? Where his own administration officials from the State Department were talking about how, yes, they had requested additional security. How no, so-called budget cuts had nothing to do with the fact that they didn't get security. It's all there on the record under oath. But Joe missed it. Because Joe's too smart for the room. Been around 40 years. You can't tell Joe anything. No. He contradicted his own State Department in claiming that initial intelligence after the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi indicated the violence was a response to an obscure YouTube video. Lie. He talked about budget cuts. Lie. He said that they didn't know that there was a threat, that the intelligence agencies didn't tell them that. Lie. Mr. Foreign Policy Expert. But don't worry, he came across, I'll tell you, as in command, as confident. And as you heard, those buffoons dressed up as journalists and hosts over there on MSLSD and Current TV. The hell's Current TV? Does Current TV even have an electrical current? I don't even know. They were just thrilled. It didn't matter what Biden said. It just mattered that in their minds he was obnoxious, like them, and that he won in their minds. That's all. Isn't it amazing? We conservatives, we talk about liberty. We talk about the individual. We talk about the rule of law. We talk about the attack on our Constitution. We talk about our heritage. What do they talk about? What do they talk about? It's unbelievable what's happened to the Democrat Party, quite frankly. Biden claims the administration didn't know the Benghazi consulate requested greater security. Again, contradicting sworn testimony from their own officials in the State Department the same day and the day before. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know. Did I vote a resolution for war in Afghanistan? Did I vote for a resolution for war in Iraq? And then he says, of course we have to give a specific date, because otherwise our friends in Afghanistan won't step up to the plate. But you moron, you're also giving a specific date to the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and every other terrorist group in Afghanistan. And we're losing men and women as a result. Unbelievable. Oh, yes. Don't you know Patton was given deadlines to look. You know, either we win in North Africa by this date or we got to get the hell out of here. Oh, yeah. Battle of the Bulge. Either we win here, by certain date, or either we push back the Germans or we got to get out of it. That's not how you fight a war. Giving deadlines to the enemy while claiming to be giving it to your ally. That's insanity. Absolute insanity. Oh, and what else about the genius on substance? Well, he lied. He lied to try and persuade all the lunch bucket Joes out there that he's for them. You see, Obama wants to raise taxes significantly on individuals who earn $200,000 or more, or families and small businesses that earn $250,000 or more. Well, that's a lot of people who create a lot of jobs. So what did Biden say? Points to Paul Ryan says, you want tax cuts for millionaires, you want tax cuts for billionaires, while the middle class out there is going to subsidize them, while the middle class is suffering out there. The very people who are sabotaging the middle class, quote unquote, pretend to represent the middle class. The very people whose policies are shutting down our coal mines and our fisheries. The very people who are closing down factories and shuttering retail businesses and small businesses. The very people who are driving up the price of gasoline and food and clothing and housing and every other damn thing. Suddenly they represent you. And those of us who are trying to unleash the private economy, to introduce a little more capitalism to what is becoming this massive centralized leviathan, we're for the rich. Oh, yes. Now think about that. Is that rational? How do you win elections if you're for the rich, quote unquote? And if you embrace capitalism, why does that make you for the rich when capitalism, more than any other economic model ever conceived, creates more wealth for more people than any other system on the face of the earth? We capitalists, yes, I am. We conservatives, we are the ones who support not just the middle class and the upper class and the lower class and all that Marxist class crap. We're the ones who support the American people, improving their lot in life. And you do that through liberty and rewarding hard work and respecting success. Not like this clown on TV last night, waving his arms around, smiling, sneering. This man should have a bag over his head. He's such a disgrace and has been such a disaster. Do you realize how much harm Obama and Biden have done to people in this country? How much misery they've created? How much poverty they've created? Homelessness? And they dare to stand there and lecture you and me. And lecture you and me with their radical left one-liners and propaganda. Oh, they stand for the little people. They stand on the little people, not for the little people. So, what did Biden say about millionaires and taxes last night? He said the middle class will pay less. People making $1 million or more will begin to contribute slightly more. We're arguing that the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy should be allowed to expire. Of the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy, $800 billion of that goes to people making a minimum of $1 million. I don't know where the hell they get these numbers from. I think they get it from one of their body parts. But that said, now they're proposing millionaires are actually millionaires? I thought millionaires were people who made $200,000 a year. Haven't we heard that for the last 5 years, 4 years? Well, now the White House is trying to walk it back. Well, Joe didn't really mean that because Joe's an idiot. Joe's an idiot. And he lied. And he lied because he was trying to give the impression that they're not going to raise taxes on people who make $200,000 and $250,000 a year. Now, what else did Joe do substantively? Well, Joe lied again about Obamacare and its impact on, among other religions and faiths, Catholicism. Oh, no. We're not. We've got this compromise. No. People who do not believe in contraception and abortion and so they don't have a problem. People don't believe in sterilization. There's no problem there. We worked out this compromise. Everything's fine. We have an accommodation now. Really? Well, not according to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, I think they know what they're talking about when it comes to, say, Catholicism. Last night, the following statement was made during the vice presidential debate regarding the decision of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to force virtually all employers to include sterilization and contraception, including drugs that may cause abortion, in the health insurance coverage they provide their employees. This is from the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. Quote, with regard to the assault on the Catholic Church, let me make it absolutely clear. No religious institution, Catholic or otherwise, including Catholic Social Services, this is actually Biden, Georgetown Hospital, Mercy Hospital, any hospital, none has to either refer contraception, none has to pay for contraception, none has to be a vehicle to get contraception. In any insurance policy they provide, that is a fact, that is a fact. Well, it's not a fact. The HHS mandate contains a narrow 4-part exemption for certain religious employers. That exemption was made final in February and does not extend to Catholic Social Services, Georgetown Hospital, Mercy Hospital, any hospital, or any other religious charity that offers its services to all, regardless of the faith of those served, points out the Weekly Standard. HHS, the Catholic bishops, HHS has proposed an additional accommodation for religious organizations like these, which HHS itself describes as non-exempt. That proposal does not even potentially relieve these organizations from the obligation to pay for contraception and to be a vehicle to get contraception. So on taxes, on Libya, on Afghanistan, on Iraq, on Obamacare and contraceptives, Biden lied. Lied, and lied again. Matha Raddatz didn't catch any of that. None of it. So the circus clown couldn't even get his facts straight. But the Democrats are happy, don't worry. Mr. Producer, we'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
My friends, meetings are essential to the way we work. It's an opportunity for different voices to be heard, to share ideas, problem solve, and develop creative solutions. But if your team is spread out in different locations, coming together can be an impossible task. That is, unless you use GoToMeeting with HD Faces, the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate with clients and coworkers online. GoToMeeting has allowed me to effectively meet with my show colleagues in different locations. It is so easy and convenient to talk face-to-face. We can share the same screen with each other. And no matter where everyone is located, GoToMeeting allows you to share that same screen. Makes it very easy, right off the same page. And with built-in HD video conferencing, you can see each other face-to-face. It's very easy to launch or join a meeting from anywhere. How do I know? Because I do it. Try GoToMeeting free. That's right, free for 30 days. Don't wait. And for this special offer, visit GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code MARK. That's GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code MARK. Mr. Call Screener, give me a caller. My call screen has gone kaput. Christian, Jacksonville, the great WBOB. Go.
Hi, my name is Kristen Hayden. I'm from Jacksonville.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say, first off, I love your show. I listen to you like every day when I get off work. And
thank you very much. Are you a millionaire and billionaire?
No, actually, I'm a single mom. You know, I make probably like $31,000 a year. I work a lot of overtime, and you know,
tough out
the situation that I'm in is, you know, I'm voting for Romney. I have a couple friends that are, you know, in my same situation, and they're kind of undecided. And after last night's debate, you know, they called me and they were like, "There's no way I can vote for the Obama administration this year." You know, and I. All right,
let me get this straight. So these are other single women or just other friends?
Single women with children. working.
Single women with children, several of them. You spoke to them after they watched the Biden debate, and they said, no way am I voting for this.
Yeah, they were like, there's no way. I mean, I think he made a complete fool out of himself and out of the administration, and I think that he lost any credibility. I mean, if there's women out there like my friends, I mean, I think he lost any credibility he had within, single women, undecided voters.
Does he remind you and your friends like of an ex-husband or ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me
like a bully.
He does. And it's the same thing. For me, with Obama, I think, since 2008 election, I've always thought he's a player. I mean, he's like, the people that listen to him are just being played. And any woman who's ever been in my situation, and they know what that is like. Being a player,
right? And that's it's funny. It's funny. I wouldn't know how to be a player if my life depended on it. Let me ask you a question. Now, okay. And I'm not trying to offend. The age range you and your girlfriends, what would they be about? Just so the audience can get a grasp of this.
I have, one of them is 28, and then the other one is my age, 30. I'm 30.
So you're young, single women with kids, and you watch this, and you said, I can't vote for this.
Yeah.
Now, but let me ask you, were any of your friends ever going to vote for Obama, Biden, or that's just sealed the deal? You still there? Hold on now. So. Turn your phone in another direction. Here's my question. Let me repeat it because I didn't get the answer.
Okay.
Were your friends going to vote against Obama anyway, or they weren't sure and this sealed the deal?
They weren't sure this time around. In 2008, they voted for Obama. I've talked to him all the time, and I've been trying to swing in the opposite direction.
You're a Paulette Revere.
Yeah.
And listen, I enjoyed your call. Great job. Keep up the good work. Tell your girlfriend, same thing. We need their vote. You're in a critical state. We call it Florida. God bless you, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, when I return, let me do a Joe Biden thing. When I return, I'll return.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Hour 2. I'm Mark Levin. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Mr. Call Screener, you know what tomorrow night is, don't you, my friend? UFC. That's correct. I'll be there with bells on. And unlike Spitzer, I'll be there with my pants on, too. But there it'll be, the UFC. I'm sure it's pay-per-view. Damn, I love that sport. I can't explain it, but they're like the old gladiators in many ways, but these guys are unbelievable. Also, if you want to keep track of breaking events related to Libya and the ongoing cover-up and scandal that is engulfing this White House, and that's exactly what's happening, you'll want to keep an eye on Fox News, and you'll want to keep an eye on Eli Lake over there at the Daily Beast. I've known Eli Lake for a long time. Very solid reporter. And, of course, you want to keep an eye on the Drudge Report homepage all the time for that and everything else. Now, Paul Ryan. This is where there's a pretty good little back and forth where Biden keeps interrupting Ryan. And it goes something like this. Cut 12, go.
They got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, turning Medicare into a piggy bank for Obamacare. Their own actuary from the administration came to Congress and said 1 out of 6 hospitals and nursing homes are going to go out of business as a result of this.
It's not what they
say. 7.4 million seniors are projected to lose the current Medicare Advantage coverage they have. That's a $3,200 benefit cut.
That didn't
what we're
happen.
saying,
more people signed
these are
up.
from your own actuaries.
More people signed up for Medicare Advantage after the change.
What they're saying,
nobody is
Mr. Vice President,
down.
I know,
no,
Mr. Vice President, I know you're under a lot of duress to make up for lost ground. But I think people will be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.
Well, don't take all the 4 minutes then.
We're saying don't change benefits for people 55 and above.
Do these guys read anything, Obama and Biden? I mean, I know they're busy on the golf course and running around having a grand old time with millionaires and the middle class, of course. But I've looked at the actuary reports by the chief actuary for Medicare, and he's also the chief actuary for Social Security, by the way. I've looked at what the trustees wrote. The actuary went further than the trustees of Medicare. The trustees are Obama appointees. The actuary is a civil servant. And he's talking about Medicare going away in 11 years. 11 years. 11 years. And Obama and Biden have been working furiously. They never rest, these two, because they tell us we never rest when it comes to national security. We never rest when it comes to job creation. We never rest when it comes to the middle class. Meanwhile, one gets up at 10 o'clock. The other one, he's in hiding for 6 days. I don't know. I guess they never sleep, or they always sleep. But that said, Medicare is kaput in 11 years, and this president and this vice president haven't put forward a single proposal. And other people have come forward, Republicans and even some Democrats, and they're brutally attacked. Well, you want to do this. Oh, you want to voucherize that. Oh, you want to take this away. Oh, you want to do that. Now, you people on Medicare, you see what's going on. It's happening right in front of you, isn't it? Well, let me help you out. Doctors are bailing out of Medicare. Hospitals that were to be built are not going to be built. Hospital beds are, in fact, disappearing. Expansion of hospitals, very rare now. It's becoming extremely unprofitable. Where's all the money going? Where do you think? It goes into having to deal with the government and the costs that are driven up. More people coming into the medical system. So you have less doctors, less hospital beds, less hospitals, period, more people pouring into the system. What the hell do you think's going to happen? But don't worry, Biden knows what he's doing. Oh, yeah, he's been around 40 years. And look, we have so much great stuff to show for it. The government's doing so great. And, of course, Biden's always been on the wrong side of every issue, almost. But he didn't want to allow Ryan to complete his thoughts about Medicare. He didn't want to allow Ryan to complete his thoughts about Obamacare. Because they are scared to death that you'll find out the facts. But let's see here. What else did I like? I'm not going to go through this the whole evening because, it's 24 hours from now. Here's one, though. I like Cut 11, Mr. Producer. Cut 11, go.
This is a man who gave 30% of his income to charity, more than the two of us combined. Romney's a good man. He cares about 100% of Americans in this country. And with respect to that quote, I think the vice president very well knows that sometimes the words don't come out of your mouth the right way.
But I always say what I mean. And so does Romney.
Everybody
right,
succeed.
That's enough. Yeah, we know you do. Joke on us. But one thing that did strike me the most in this debate was Paul Ryan's closing statement. I'm a big fan of Paul Ryan. I consider myself a friend of Paul Ryan. Then he would call me from time to time off the air and talk about his budgets and so forth. I like him enormously. I did think there were a few things we could have done a little better at, being a little more aggressive about a few of these answers. But it's not that big of a deal because the environment was almost impossible, where you have Biden doing what he was doing and Raditz, I'll get to her later, doing what she was doing. But where he couldn't be interrupted, and when he wasn't interrupted, I thought he gave an excellent closing statement. It's not even that long. So I want to play it for you. Then I'm done with the clips. Cut 13, go.
We face a very big choice. What kind of country are we going to be? What kind of country are we going to give our kids? President Obama, he had his chance. He made his choices. His economic agenda, more spending, more borrowing, higher taxes, a government takeover of health care, it's not working. It's failed to create the jobs we need. 23 million Americans are struggling for work today. 15% of Americans are in poverty. This is not what a real recovery looks like. You deserve better. Mitt Romney and I want to earn your support. We're offering real reforms for a real recovery for every American. Mitt Romney, his experience, his ideas, his solutions, is uniquely qualified to get this job done. At a time when we have a jobs crisis in America, wouldn't it be nice to have a job creator in the White House? The choice is clear. A stagnant economy that promotes more government dependency, or a dynamic growing economy that promotes opportunity and jobs. Mitt Romney and I will not duck the tough issues, and we will not blame others for the next 4 years. We will take responsibility, and we will not try to replace our founding principles. We will reapply our founding principles. The choice is clear, and the choice rests with you, and we ask you for your vote.
You see, this guy's a class act. He said, we want to earn your support. We ask you for your vote. Biden doesn't talk that way. He demands your vote. He insists on it. So does Obama. And if you're not with them, they bully you. They try and push you around. They try and diminish you. I thought that was an excellent closing statement, because he wasn't interrupted by Biden nor this Martha Raddick. Now, Martha Raddick, Breitbart.com, has done a very good job, William Bigelow, of laying out her disgraceful performance, and it was disgraceful. As a matter of fact, there were a couple times I jumped out of my chair and said, would you shut the hell up and let him finish a statement? I'll bet a bunch of you did too. Among her attacks, as they point out at Breitbart.com, holding Ryan and Romney, not Biden or Obama, accountable for Libya statements. We'll link to this so you can take a look at it yourself. I just want to talk to you about, right in the middle of the crisis, Governor Romney, and you're talking about this again tonight, talked about the weakness, talked about apologies from the Obama administration. Was that really right in the middle of the crisis? That was her big deal question. Providing cover for Biden. What were you first told about the attack? Why were people talking about protests when people in the consulate first saw armed men attacking with guns? There were no protesters. Why did that go on for weeks? People, rather than the Obama administration's now demonstrable lies, we now have testimony under oath that it wasn't a protest. And we know for an absolute certitude that the video, the amateur video produced by the man who put it on YouTube and is now sitting in a jail somewhere, had nothing to do with this. Attack number 2, asking Ryan and only Ryan to respond to American misdeeds in war. Mr. Ryan, I want to ask you about the Romney campaign talks a lot about no apologies. He has a book called No Apologies. Should the U.S. have apologized for Americans burning Korans in Afghanistan? Should the U.S. apologize for U.S. Marines urinating on Taliban corpses? I, for one, say no. Let the Taliban apologize to us. Let the enemy apologize to us. The hell is this? But that said, whose watch did that occur on? And by the way, Mr. Producer, how much do you think Joe Biden paid for those false teeth? I'm serious. This guy's got somebody else's hair on his head, somebody else's teeth in his mouth, his skin's pulled back where it goes from ear to ear. He's starting to look like Nancy Pelosi. Now, attack number 3 from Raditz, asking what the Romney-Ryan team would do, but not Obama-Biden, about Iran. And how will you do it so quickly? Look, you both saw Benjamin Netanyahu hold up that picture of a bomb with the red line and talking about the red line being in your spring. So can you solve this? If the Romney-Ryan ticket is elected, can you solve this in 2 months before spring and avoid nuclear ... Biden. Biden is a stay-the-course guy. No matter what we're doing is so great. But Ryan was right. These are watered-down sanctions with an endless number of waivers. The Iranian economy is in big hurt, particularly its currency. And I know why. And I'm not going to tell you because I'm not allowed to. But I know it didn't start under Obama. Attack number 4, asking Ryan specific questions on unemployment while letting Biden avoid them. There was an attack number 6, attacking Ryan and only Ryan for past legislative stances. Nothing was brought up about Biden's past legislative stances. In fact, she didn't even challenge him when he said he didn't vote to go to war in Afghanistan and Iraq. She accused Ryan of not offering specifics about their tax plan. What do they mean by specifics? Is Ryan supposed to sit there and write a new Internal Revenue Code? I don't even understand what the question is. Same with Romney. They've given specifics. Across the board tax rate cuts, and for the top rate, you're going to lose some of your deductions. That's what they've said. Well, we need specifics. What deductions? There aren't that many deductions. I guess interest deductions on homes or second homes or what have you. And he says he'll negotiate them. So what is it? Is this, what are they supposed to do? Say, well, Section AQ7, small I, subsection D should be written this way? I don't know. When Obama was running around for Obamacare, running for office, did they ask for specifics? We got 2,700 pages in a statute and thousands and thousands of pages in regulations. How about we do this? Joe Biden, have you read the Obamacare bill and the regulations? Well, if you have, give us some specifics. And, by the way, when you give us specifics, be specific. Of course not. Of course not. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
There were a couple of things that also caught my attention. For instance, Biden gave the impression that he and Obama, they get along great with Bibi Netanyahu. What's the problem? I was there sitting in the room, he says. They must have talked for an hour, Obama and Bibi. Yeah, they have easy access to each other. Now, the Israelis are putting out word. They're furious. The Israelis are putting out word. They're furious Obama won't meet with them. He won't meet with Netanyahu. A phone call is one thing. He won't meet with him. And earlier in his term, he treated him like crap. Remember? Went to dinner, left Netanyahu on his own, and we're all supposed to believe we have this great relationship. No, we don't. Obama hates Israel. Then the idiot Biden on nuclear material. How are they going to deliver it? They don't have the missiles. I think they just sent a drone into Israel, didn't they? Well, but they don't have the missiles. Well, let's see. I wonder how many people listening to this program right now, particularly in the Washington, D.C. area, intelligence folks, are having to deal with the possibility of a dirty bomb, a suitcase bomb. They must have watched this and said, is this guy serious? There are many ways to create an enormous amount of damage with this material. Plus, lest we forget, who does have missiles? The Chinese, the Russians, Koreans are working on their missiles, Pakistanis. Missiles won't be a problem one day. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, he acts like they can't create missiles. Of course they can create missiles. And by the way, what are those things firing down into Israel? Remember the last time? Thousands of missiles? Some of them very, very sophisticated? The Russians have given missiles to the Syrians. They've given missiles to everybody over the last 50 years in the Middle East. That won't be a problem. Besides, as I recall, Clinton even gave MIRV technology to the Red Chinese when he was president. Remember that one? Oh, I remember that one. Oh, yes. Through his big donor. Remember all that? They kind of eased the export controls and all the rest of it. Oh, these liberals and national security. It's like oil and water. They're really not into it. What are you worried about? Settle down with Iran. Oh, okay, we'll settle down. Who says? Joe Biden. who didn't even know what the hell was going on in Libya, he says. But he knows everything that's going on in Iraq. I'll be right back.
This is Radio Free America on the Mark Levin Show. Call now, 877-381-3811.
And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, lest we forget, the issue is turnout. The issue is you. You registering, you voting, and you, the Paul and Paulette Reveres, who take it to another level. And make sure family members and friends, and we've had a number of Paul and Paulette Reveres call this program, families and friends and coworkers, influencing them, talking to them, persuading, and by God, getting them registered. And if registration is up, as it is in many states, keeping your own little list and making sure they vote. They're not going to see us coming if we all do this. They're not going to see it coming. You see, we don't need robocalls. We need your calls. We don't need armies of people knocking on doors. We need you to knock on the doors. Excuse me. That's what we do here every night on this program. I'm a precinct worker. I'm knocking on your door. I'm knocking on everybody's door, whether they're in a car, whether they're in a home, however you're listening to us, in a place of business. I'm coming up to you on the street. You're walking your dog, you're taking a walk, it's a nice evening, what have you. Because you're listening to me. So I feel like I'm the nation's precinct worker. But each of you are precinct workers too. And I don't mean for any particular party. I mean for your country. The issue is liberty. The issue's always been liberty. Liberty. That's the issue. Ron, Antioch, California, the great KSFO. Go.
Yeah, Mark, I've been listening to you over the past about 8 months when I called you about 8 months ago. And, I voted for Obama. And I just feel that, listening over you this period of time to you, I appreciate your integrity and your expertise and your intelligence and everything, and just really learning a lot since I've been listening to you. But the point of my call is that as one of those people that voted for Obama in 2008, I will not be voting for him again, as will many of the people that I work with. Also are not going to be voting for him. And
really? Well, first of all, that's terrific. But you say a lot of people you work with as well.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And did they vote for Obama before?
I know for a fact that a number of them did, and likely that most of them that I work with there did, except for maybe a couple. Yeah, mm-hmm. They're kind of that same mindset, That
now, is this a union, non-union, both?
It's non-union, yes. Mm-hmm. Independent business. But, the take and the reason for that is that, a lot of us thought that he was going to be, kind of the forward-thinking man, the modern man, the Steve Jobs, so to speak, of leading the country into, perhaps a new technological revolution and things like that. Mm-hmm. And, it ended up being just the same old political crony capitalism that we've seen from both parties over this, over the years. Right. And, a lot, I got to say, too, that the 6 of these people that I work with are women, and those 6 are Hispanics. Mm-hmm. And none of those 6 people are going to be voting for him either. And really? So if they're, I don't know their families personally, but if they typify, the other types of Hispanics that are working and, family-oriented and that type of thing, they won't be voting for other friends of theirs won't be voting for Obama either, because, as one put it, it says at the end of a discussion, they were having, I was just kind of listening in, the one who's probably the least fluent in English, her input was that they're just using us. That's what she said. And I feel the same way that, I could spend an hour here.
Now you voted for Obama. Are you a Democrat?
I was registered Democrat, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you still?
No, I'm going to be leaning independent from this point on.
And you're not voting for Obama, and you did vote for Obama, and you have a few coworkers who did the same thing, and they're not voting for Obama. Well, let me tell you, is that partly due to you? Have you been talking to them?
No, I just kind of, I'm just kind of there along for the ride, but I listen to all this stuff, and I put my 2 cents worth in, although I'm not, I would say a real strong mover and shaker in influencing other people's opinion. I just more or less kind of taking it all in, and this is just what I'm hearing.
All right, Ron. Well, listen, I'm really glad to hear this, and I think there's a lot of people like you.
Hey, Mark, can I say one other thing?
Sure.
Listening to you talk about the Constitution and stuff like that. Oh, I want to mention, too, that in September, because of you, we were down in Southern California, and my wife said, hey, we're going to be going through Northridge. What do you think about going to the Reagan Library? I said, let's check it out. And, we did, and we spent pretty much all day there. And
Am I right about the Reagan Library?
It is an amazing place.
It's stunning.
Was truly impressed. I mean, it was astounding. Yeah, and I want to thank you for that, too. That was a great, I'm glad I heard about it on your show. So.
Well, good. And that was smart of your wife, Ron. You got a good lady there. And God bless you, friend. Really. You have an open mind, and I appreciate it. I honestly believe, folks, people with open minds, even though you're a Democrat, you lean left, that sort of thing, conservatism, constitutionalism, the emphasis on the individual. These are conclusions we come to through reasoning, through experience. We may defend them passionately, but in the end, we really defend them with our heads, with our minds, with our brains. So if somebody's truly open-minded, willing to talk, and they voted for Obama, or they say they're liberal, or you're a member of the Democrat Party or whatever, that's fine. If you're willing to talk, engage, and so forth, and you may not move over, that's fine too. But I think you'll rethink things a little bit. It's a matter of undoing what's been decades of indoctrination in schools, in families, on TV, through phony media, and that sort of stuff. It just takes time. But we ultimately outnumber them. That is, we outnumber the drones. Now, what I was just talking about are not drones. I'm talking about the foot soldiers for the left. We outnumber them. We just got to make sure our act is together every election cycle, like right now. I talked at length about this yesterday. I felt pretty good about that discussion. I would encourage those of you listening who didn't hear the show yesterday for one reason or another to download it. Take a listen. Go to marklevinshow.com. You can download it. It's free. I don't think I've ever told you to do that or suggested you do that before, but yesterday's show, particularly the first half, you may want to take a listen. Let us go to Ryan in Chicago on the Internet. How are you, sir?
How's it going, Mark? It's absolutely a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
I got turned on to your show from my dad, who gave me Liberty and Tyranny, and I absolutely just love the show. I've been listening to it about for the past 4 years.
Thank you.
One thing that I wanted to throw my TV out the window listening to Biden yesterday. And,
it was tough. It was tough how to listen to that debate.
I had to shut my TV off like 2 or 3 times and walk to the bedroom.
Yeah.
But one thing that I wondered why the moderator didn't say anything, but she never brought up that Biden voted against Roe versus Wade in 1982.
Which I brought up.
You did.
He voted for the Hatch Amendment, which was, that's correct, which was to make it a federalism issue where the states would decide. He voted for it in 1982. And, she didn't give a damn.
No, she didn't. And, I just wonder I'm being Catholic. I wonder, how can he sit there and say that he's for others making that choice? Murdering unborn children. I just don't get it. So, and the arrogance, the smug attitude was just absolutely appalling. And it is
amazing how the left is never required to explain their inconsistencies, isn't it?
No, they're always angry and they're always guilty. That's really all it's about.
All right, brother. God bless you, Ryan. Thanks for listening. Ishmael, Dallas, Texas, the great WBAP. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Mr. Levin. It's a pleasure, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Go right ahead. Thank you, sir.
Well, like I said, I've just been listening to everybody and talking about, I'm a 45-year-old Hispanic male that's never voted in my life. And in the last year and a half, I started paying attention to what's going on, so... and I'm going conservative all the way, I'm here to tell you. So I don't know what they talk about, the Hispanics in the pocket. They don't have them everywhere.
You're a good man. What do you do?
I work safety on pipeline construction.
See, you're a hard-working man, and this is my point. This is my point to Jeb Bush and all the rest. Let's treat Hispanic Americans the way we treat all Americans. People who work hard. You should have a right to keep most of your money. And people who want jobs, we need to create an environment and unleash the economy where people can get jobs. And stop pushing them around and stop taking their money and giving it to other people. This to me is the language of all people. Don't you agree?
I completely agree. I've been fortunate and been able to keep a job with all this other stuff. And thanks to my the ability to speak Spanish and English. It's through no thanks or anything that he's done for me that's been able to keep me and feeding my family. So, it's pretty much made my mind up pretty easy.
You're a good man, brother. Appreciate it. All right, God bless. Man, I'm liking these calls. I really am. Let's slip in another one before I have to take the break. Tracy. Holy mackerel, Dallas, Fort Worth. You're all wide awake there. Tracy, Dallas, WBAP. How are you?
How are you?
All right.
Good. You know what? Let me tell you something. You're a very good person. You have a very good heart. You're very intelligent. I'm trying to get through liberty and tyranny. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Technically, I'm a stupid ass.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No. Listen, I voted for Romney, and not Romney, but I voted for Obama in 2008 because I wanted change. Okay?
Right.
I didn't think McCann could do it. I really didn't think they could. And you know what? I'm stupid. But anyway,
no, stop.
I have
You're
two
fine.
questions. I have two questions I want to ask, and I've been dying. I'm a first-time caller, but I've been listening to you because guess what?
What?
My boyfriend turned me on to your radio station, and he told me about you guys. And you know what? I started listening to you guys, and you know what? You guys are wonderful.
Well, thank you.
You are like ultimately. You're crazy. I hope you never have a heart attack. Please don't.
I have had one, as a matter of fact.
Well, you know what? Listen, you get so... You're
excited.
So passionate. You're so passionate.
Yes.
Dude, take care of yourself, because I can't
Tracy,
be gone yet.
Thank you. God bless you. Oh, okay, go ahead. We have a question. Go ahead.
Here's my question. I have really actually two questions. Okay, the first one is that, you know what?
I'm going to have to put you on hold. We're running out of time. Don't hang up. All right? Mr. Call Screener, when she comes back, we need those questions, concise. But I want to get to this. Many of you have ordered your 2013 desk calendar, courtesy of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation. You just heard Ron, who's a Democrat. He voted for Obama. Now he's going to vote for Romney. Now he's going to become an independent. But in any event, They were driving through the area where the Reagan Library is near Simi Valley. The Reagan Library is in Simi Valley, but they were driving in Northridge. His wife said, Mark's talked about the Reagan Library. Let's go check it out. And they spent the whole day there. Folks, you can spend a whole week there. It is fascinating. It's not just a museum. It's interactive. They've got Air Force One there, the one before the one that Obama uses. It's just a whole incredible history. The president's buried on the grounds there. It's fascinating. They have a nice cafeteria, too, by the way. Anyway, many of you have ordered your free 2013 desk calendar, and that's courtesy of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation. It's a cute little calendar. I have it on my desk. I love it. It contains a heading with the same words Ronald Reagan had on a plaque in the Oval Office. A simple message. It can be done. If you haven't ordered your desk calendar yet, go to ReaganRevolution.com. I love that name because that's what we were. Reagan Revolutionaries. ReaganRevolution.com, and you'll get it for free, but only while supplies last, so you need to hurry. It can be done. That's the essence of what made President Reagan the greatest president of our lifetime. He faced problems head on and believed that we can preserve freedom, we can ensure prosperity, we can take back our country. This calendar with Reagan's favorite quote will remind you every day that you can accomplish great things too. So go to ReaganRevolution.com right now. Get your calendar absolutely free. You can also take advantage of this. Listen to this. A discounted membership in the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation exclusively for you, my beloved audience, and it has the added benefit of helping to support the Reagan Library and the Reagan legacy. But there's no obligation to receive the free desk calendar. So get yours right away while supplies are still available. Go to ReaganRevolution.com.
Mark Levin.
By the way, keep in mind there's only a few weekends left before this election, folks. There's 25 days left, so if you're gonna be Paul and Paulette Revere's, which is what we desperately need across the country, you got to be active this weekend and the next one and the next one. Back to Tracy in Dallas. Yes, Tracy, you had a question.
My question to you is, why did the U.S. government have the 6 Navy SEALs or Green Berets or whoever it was, why did they have them pulled 2 days before September 11th? Why?
Pulled from
Libya.
The consulate in Libya?
Yes. Why did they have them pulled?
Well, you know, I don't know the answer to all these questions. We don't even have all the facts, but the facts are going to come out whether Obama wants them out or not, because nobody's falling for the videotape nonsense. Nobody's falling for it was a protest gone bad. And so the House is on top of it. There's other investigations going on. Fox News is doing a great job. Eli Lake over there at the Daily Beast. And if we take the Senate, because the Senate's sitting on its hands under Harry Reid, we'll get to the bottom of this. So I don't know the answer, but I do know enough to tell you that this president didn't sit for intelligence briefings. This president wasn't even curious about what was going to happen on 9/11. This president has never been curious about things like intelligence. And immediately after this terrorist attack took place, the brutalization and murder of our ambassador, the killing of 3 other wonderful young Americans, including 2 former Navy SEALs, this president, within 24 hours, got on our jet, Air Force One, flew to Las Vegas, did a fundraiser, flew to Colorado, did a fundraiser, and then went back to the White House. He didn't call together all the national security staff, the intelligence staff, foreign policy and military staff. No. He was campaigning in the middle of a terrorist attack. I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. This is hour 3, the final hour of the program, the final hour of the week. We have a great guest at the bottom of the hour, by the way, in our ongoing effort to elect and re-elect a number of solid conservatives. This one in particular is not receiving the support that she deserves. And her name is Michele Bachmann. She'll be here at the bottom of the hour. At least she's scheduled to be. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I'll take more calls this hour, I hope. But I want to get to one thing. I went back on this word forward that Obama uses in his campaign. You see it everywhere. You hear it everywhere. Forward. It's an odd word for a campaign. You know, you might say, well, we're going forward and not backwards. Well, that's, sorry, Mr. Producer. Well, that's, okay. Of course, we know progressives are regressives. We know forward really means backwards for these people, but that said. But forward has a bigger meaning than that. And I want to let you in on the code. And the Washington Times did a very good job of this several months ago. I want you to let you in. Forward is a code word. Mark, what do you mean, this black helicopter? No, it has nothing to do with black helicopters or conspiracies. On the hard, radical left, it's a word that they use for a reason. Let me give you an example. Washington Times. The Obama campaign apparently didn't look backwards into history when selecting its new campaign slogan, Forward. I would suggest that they did. Look, Obama is an expert on the history of the hard left. That's the one thing he actually knows. It's a word with a long and rich association with European Marxism. Stay with me. Many communist and radical publications and entities throughout the 19th and 20th centuries had the name Forward or its foreign equivalent. Wikipedia has an entire section called Forward, generic name of socialist publications, quote unquote. The name Forward carries a special meaning in socialist political terminology. This is a quote from Wikipedia. It has been frequently used as a name for socialist, communists, and other left-wing newspapers and publications, unquote. The slogan Forward reflected the conviction of European Marxists and radicals that their movements reflect the march of history, which would move forward past capitalism and into socialism and communism. The Obama campaign released its campaign slogan in a 7-minute video. The title card is simply the word Forward with the O having the familiar Obama logo from 2008. This is real totalitarian stuff. I'm not kidding. The word Forward, the slogan O for Obama, I mean, I worked in the Reagan campaigns and the Reagan administration. I don't remember using the R, or you understand what I mean? This is new to America and not good. So they have the O for Obama, the word Forward. It will be played and used at rallies, wherever Obama goes. There have been at least 2 radical left publications named Forward in Germany. One was the daily newspaper of the Social Democratic Party of Germany, whose writers included Friedrich Engels and Leon Trotsky. And it still publishes as the organ of the German SDP, though the party has changed considerably since World War II. Another was the 1844 biweekly reader of the Communist League. Karl Marx, Engels, and Michele Bachmann are among the names associated with that publication. East Germany named its Army Soccer Club the German equivalent of Forward. Vladimir Lenin founded the publication with the Russian word for forward in 1905. Soviet propaganda filmmaker Dzga Vertov made a documentary whose title is sometimes translated as Forward. Forward Soviet. Forward. Now look, they didn't just come up with that word. Oh, I like the word forward. It's like the phrase hope and change. The word hope and the word change, if you read Rules for Radicals, is in that book endlessly. Berlinski's telling followers to use the words hope and change and change and change and hope over and over and over again. Because They create a vision or an image for the individual you're talking to without frightening them, because you're not really telling them what you mean by change and hope. Same with the word forward. Forward from what? What he means, Obama, is forward away from capitalism, forward away from constitutionalism, forward away from the individual sovereignty and liberty. Forward means centralized, concentrated power. You don't believe me? May I ask you a question? I've asked this before. Is there a single policy that this administration has put in place, whether through its regulatory schemes or its executive fiats or through Congress, that promotes individual liberty? Just one? Is there a single speech Obama or Biden have given which spends a significant amount of time, focused attention, on the liberty of the individual? No. And yet, is this not the core of who we are? Is this not the core of what this nation is? Is this not our heritage? Is it not the heritage of Western civilization and the Enlightenment? And they never talk about it. And their policies certainly don't promote it. So I just wanted to make this point to you because, well, anybody can get behind a microphone and go on and play audio clips and cut jokes and besides. I'm telling you that there's more to this campaign, there's more to what's going on in this country than treating these debates as some kind of game. You know, let's pop the popcorn and have a Coke and have a good one. That's fine, but that's not the point. This is absolutely serious stuff. I just wanted to emphasize that on this Friday as we go into the weekend. And you, Paul and Paulette Revere's, at a minimum, start talking to as many people as you can. We only have, I haven't counted, it's 3 or 4 weekends left. That's it. And I promise you, the Obama drones, they're going to be out there slithering from one neighborhood to the next. You need to talk to your friends and your family. You need to talk to your coworkers. You need to talk to anybody in your social or familiar circle and get busy. And I know you are, but we need to do more. I know they're hosts. They want to make predictions. Big, landslides, big this, big that. I don't care. I'll let people beat their chests later. Right now, we beat the pavement. Tyrone, Alexandria, Virginia, the great WMAL. Go.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
All right. How are you, sir?
Fine. I've met you 4 times, and I never had a chance to tell you that's who I am, Tyrone.
Tyrone. I remember you. I remember your voice.
All right. I've met you 4 times at book signings, plus I've met you at the Reagan Library.
You're a very nice man.
I just took a survey today. I was riding where I live in Alexandria. I saw 7 Romney signs, 1 for Obama and 1 for Kane. So whatever that means, I just want to let you know that.
I don't know. That's a tough neighborhood. There's a lot of Democrats here.
But I mean, everything here was our guy. But
good.
I just, I listen to you every night, and I got so much to say. I don't know how to say it, but you said a couple weeks ago you wanted us to go to the MRC Brent Bozell thing. So,
yes,
of course,
sir.
I went and got me a ticket. My dentist, we went to it, especially because you said to do it, and we did it.
Well, wasn't it fun?
Oh, my God. It was.
And good food, too, right?
But I wanted, what's that fool? I'm sorry, Dan Rather. I wanted him to win. But I lost out to Katie Couric.
Well, I'm one of the judges.
You weren't there. I mean, I know you.
No, I wasn't, but I participated in selecting them.
Well, there's something else I know is time is so valuable. When you would come to South Philly to read the Constitution, that's the area where I came from, and you mentioned Frank Rizzo to Rosie a couple weeks ago from South Philly.
That's right.
And you mentioned the big guy that used to be with Rizzo.
Oh, yeah, his bodyguard was like 6'10".
That was my friend Teddy Vaughn. That's where he was from.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
What a small world, man.
Oh, there's so much, Mark. I mean,
Now, hold on. I got to ask you a question. Is he still around?
Yes, Teddy's still, yeah. He's a retired cop.
Do you talk to him ever?
No. When I go back to South Philly, it's rare, twice a year, and most of the people have moved out and they're gone.
Well, if you ever find Teddy, tell him that I spoke of him, because I was like 13 or 14, and I remember. Man, am I right? He's a big dude.
6'8".
Oh, 6'8", and muscles and big.
Oh, solid, not an ounce of fat on Teddy.
No, he was
Matter
a nice
man. Matter of fact, when Rizzo was on the bridge with him, there was a fire at the refinery. Rizzo turned to run, and he hit Teddy Vaughn and broke his own on his own hip.
I remember that. I don't think people realize this guy's like a defensive lineman.
He was not an ounce of fat on Teddy.
No, and a nice man.
Yes, he was. Wonderful guy. I don't know if you remember, I'm the guy that I walked up to you initially and said, did you live in a certain area of the city? You said yes. You said, well, do you know who my neighbor is? I said, yeah, Bill Cosby. Remember that?
I remember you, man.
Yeah.
I really do. And you're the nicest guy. As a matter of fact, so people know, I lived outside of Philly in a town called Elkins Park in Cheltenham Township. And right behind me, on the street right behind us, but not right behind me, a little bit down, Bill Cosby had a house. Now, I don't know that he was ever there, but it wasn't ostentatious. It was a nice house and so forth. But we always liked the fact that he had the house. I never saw the man, though.
Well, yeah, I knew that. That's why when I said to you, so how do you know? I said, well, everybody in Philadelphia, we all know that. We all know who lives where.
That's right. I think they ought to make the Levin family home. It was on Cedar Road there. I think they ought to make that a national historical site.
It should be. I mean, I wonder why you didn't get the Pulitzer Prize today.
I didn't get what?
What was that prize? The Pulitzer? What was that?
The Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, I wondered. You should have got it, not those people over there.
Well, a few years ago, my group and I, Landmark, we nominated Rush.
I remember that.
And you know what's funny about that, Tyrone? The New York Times contacted us and said, hey, under the rules, you can't just start nominating people. I said, why not? So we nominated Rush. Became a big story. It was really tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
And the media is reporting on it. Well, they don't have the right to do that. And we were laughing the whole time.
Oh, God. Well, Mark, I got people that know you from Tyson's Corner, plus from the Central Valley of California. I met them all. We're in email contact every day, and I know this will blow their minds.
Well, let me just tell you this. You're a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart. You flew all the way out there to California.
Look, and I'm retiring next week. I'm 75. And the last thing I want to say, I don't want to waste up your time. My son was born 3 days after you.
Really?
September 24th, 57.
And he's a good kid?
He's a wonderful father.
Yeah, that's good.
A wonderful father.
Very good.
And,
well, he's got a wonderful father in you, my friend.
Well, look,
your wife will send chunky buns.
Oh, who's that in the background
my
there?
Wife is the one. One time I came to see you and I gave you 3 chunkies. I said my wife said to give you those. Mark, thank you so much for what you do for the world.
Well, it's a great honor. Give your wife a kiss, and God bless you, my friend.
Bless you, my brother. Bye now.
You too. What a nice guy. I remember Tyrone. Just a great guy. You can tell, right? All right. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Keith, Palm Beach, Florida, the great WJNO. Go.
Thanks for taking my call. Hey, listen, I'm making a prediction that these guys are going to go to no end to save the beloved Obama, and I think Hillary's about to get thrown under the bus.
You make a very interesting point because Biden last night during the debate said, hey, the State Department handles this, that, and the other. The White House is definitely building a trench and a wall around Obama and Biden. And I guess that kind of leaves Hillary on the other side of the trench and wall, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And she was one of the first ones to blame that stupid video when, I saw right through it from day one. But she was one of the ones out there touting that whole lie as well. But, I'm making a prediction that she's about to get thrown under the bus. And I'll tell you, talk about a war on women.
It's an excellent point. All you Hillary supporters out there, I hope you're paying attention to Keith, because I actually took notes on this and forgot to get to it, and he's right. They're holding up the State Department to protect the Oval Office, and the fact of the matter is, who runs the State Department? Hillary does. And but I'll tell you what I'd like to see, Keith, not that I can. I'd like to see these briefings and the books that were prepared for Obama, whether he looked at them or not, to see if he had any indication whatsoever of a heightened alert for the Middle East. That alone should have required some action.
I think the American people deserve to see it.
Yeah, well, according to these guys, we don't deserve anything. All right, Keith, God bless you, my friend. Don't burn yourself out there in the sun. One of my favorite areas, South Florida. We have to move quickly. Alex, Dallas, Texas, BAP, go.
Hey, Mark. I'm sure you're having a fantastic day.
Yes, sir.
I'm a 32-year-old Hispanic male, just your average working Joe.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I appreciate everything that you do. I've been listening to you for the last about 2 years.
Thank you.
I rode the fence on the last election. I really was undecisive as to which way to go.
Yeah.
But it's been very clear over the last 4 years as to what we've seen. I obviously believe we're moving in the wrong direction. Not only do I don't even have to think. I know we are, because I see it every day here in Dallas, Texas. I see more jobs going away instead of more jobs being produced. You speak the truth, my friend.
Well, thank you.
And I want everybody else out there to know that if you ain't listening to this man, you know somebody who isn't listening to this man, you need to go and shake somebody who can listen to this man.
Well, Alex, I thank you. I'm taking it you're voting for Romney.
I am voting for Romney. As a matter of fact, I got off my butt last week and I went and registered, and I will be there at the polls. I'm trying to get my wife right now. I'm trying to get my family involved, because it is important that we get this Obama out of office. I do believe in one thing, that is, Mark, and that is we are moving forward. Obama needs to know that we're moving forward. We're just going to move forward without him.
Yeah, right. All right, Alex, God bless you, my friend. That's very encouraging, and I appreciate the very kind words. Keep it up, baby. I don't know. I know it's anecdotal. We get a lot of people who call this program or have Hispanic heritage. And I don't know about you, Mr. Producer. It doesn't sound like they're all falling in line behind Obama, does it to you? No. We shall see. We shall see. We'll be right back.
You've heard of Lady Liberty? Well, this is Mr. Liberty, the Mark Levin Show. Call him now at 877-381-3811.
We're trying to make sure a number of folks who are solid constitutional conservatives are reelected, and that folks who've not served yet join our solid constitutional conservatives in Congress. And one of our great leaders and one of my dear friends, Michele Bachmann. How are you?
I am doing great, and I am one of your dear friends. I'm just such a huge fan, and there's nothing better than listening to Mark Levin when he gets into a rant. It's probably the highlight of my week.
Aren't you nice? Well, I appreciate that. Now, Michele Bachmann, I want you to tell us about your race there, this guy you're up against. You're up against the newspapers as usual, and how it's looking.
Well, it is a very tough race this time because I've never had this situation before where I have a self-funder, which means he's enormously wealthy. He's probably certainly worth more than $100 million, could be as much as $140 million. He's been funding his campaign with a lot of money so far. I'm also the number one target of some super PACs that are out there that they're trying to defeat. They have a top 10 list, and I'm number one on their list. I live in a state that has voted for a Democrat for president longer than any of the other 50 states. We will go Obama, unfortunately, this fall. And when I left my presidential campaign last January, I had a significant debt that I had to clean up. And so I've really had very few months to be able to put money together to run this effort. And the fellow that I'm running against is in support of Obamacare. He supports the $700 billion Wall Street bailout. He supports the stimulus. He is just the opposite of where we stand. He's a big lib, but he has a lot of very well-heeled friends downtown in Minneapolis. And he had Barney Frank come in and do a big fundraiser for him, and the libs are on fire right now in Minnesota. They are on fire, and they're doing absolutely everything they can They think because, I had a debt as of January, they see a big opportunity. That's why he was recruited, because he had all the money in the world. And so they see a huge opening, and it's tough. I mean, I'll be honest, this is the toughest race I've ever had.
What groups are lining up against you?
It is super PACs that are lining up against me. And,
like Pelosi?
Pardon me?
Pelosi's PAC? Nancy Pelosi?
I don't know if it's Pelosi's PAC or whose PAC it is, but it's they're targeting the constitutional conservatives, Tea Party leaders, and I'm the number one on their list. And also, there's just lib groups here. We have a lot of lib groups, and they're lined up, for everybody from Planned Parenthood to who knows who. But they're all lined up.
Well, so you need help, don't you? You need help from the Levin legions out here, don't you?
Well, the Levin legions are like no other legion out there. And I will tell you, I have stood strong, and I've even stood against my own party at times when I've had to, because the main thing right now is we have everything at stake. You tell us this every night, whether it's financially or whether it is dealing with our safety and security when dealing with national security. We've got it all on the line. And I've been willing to stand up. I sit on an intelligence committee, and this has even cost me within my own party. But we have got to stand up now more than any other time.
It's almost unthinkable to me that come election night or the day after, we look at who's won and who's lost, and you've lost a close race in Minnesota. We just cannot allow that to happen. You're one of our generals. We can't leave you on the battlefield alone. I would ask my audience to go to Mark Levin. Go to Mark Levin social sites, my Facebook site, my Twitter site. We've got a lot of you folks. Join up if you haven't. Michele Bachmann needs our support. She needs our money because she's up against a big lib Democrat who's got an enormous amount of money. It's MicheleBachmann.com. Michele with one L, Bachmann with two N's at the end of her name. MicheleBachmann.com. You know Michele Bachmann. You know she's the real deal. You know she stands up to the libs. You know she stands up to the Republican leadership. And I'll deal with that leadership stuff when you're off the air, because I know things that you don't even know, don't I? So I've been digging into this. I don't want your fingerprints all over this. I've been digging into who's supporting you and who's not. And when you're off my program in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about it. Now, are you able to buy? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The other thing I know is that in my state of Minnesota, some of your listeners might know Al Franken. He's one of our U.S. senators from Minnesota. Al Franken does not have a race this year. Our other Democrat senator is also able to campaign against me. So I've got Al Franken, our other Democrat senator. I've got our Democrat governor. None of them have anything to do this year. And so all of them are able to take their money, their time, and they're able to point their fire on me in this race. So they see a tremendous opening. I just want people to know how serious this is.
Yeah, you're being ganged up on money-wise with these statewide leftist politicians and so forth. They want to pick you off. And, while the fog of battle's going on all over the country, this is my point, we have a few folks out there, you certainly among the top, and Steve King we got to keep an eye on in Iowa, and a few others, and we got to make sure that when there's a new Congress, you're in it, for our sake. So, are you able to buy some commercial time there? I know it's not cheap.
Well, Minnesota is an obscenely expensive media market, and yes, I am buying time because I have to let the people in this state know where my opponent stands on the issues. The people have a pretty good idea where I'm at, but again, we're a fairly liberal state, and I have to let people know where my opponent stands because people don't know. He's not a high-profile person. People don't know him, and so we need to let people know where he stands on the issues, what he would do if he was in Congress.
I notice a lot of these leftists, they run as fiscal conservatives. They claim they can get along with both parties, and they're bipartisan. Is that what he's doing?
That's exactly the tack that he's taking, that he's a big moderate, and he can work with everybody and get things done. And, what does it say if you bring Barney Frank in to be your lead in a fundraiser?
Barney Frank, Al Franken. I mean, it's those are perfect moderates. Well, Michele Bachmann, it's MicheleBachmann.com. Michele with one L, Bachmann 2 N. Go on my social sites. Let's help Michele out here, folks. And we're going to keep an eye on your race. And God bless you, my friend.
Okay, God bless you, Mark. Thank you, and thank your listeners.
All right, take care. Now, I'm going to tell you what I have found out. Not from her. I haven't talked to her in a long time. The Republican National Committee hasn't given her a penny. The National Republican Congressional Committee, which is supposed to help Republican candidates, hasn't given her a penny. My view has always been, and it continues to be, if you want to support conservative candidates, then you support conservative candidates. You don't need middlemen. You don't need a Republican apparatus like the RNC and the NRCC and the rest of the CCs and DDs and SSs and the rest. You make the decision where your money goes. You decide which candidates you want to support. I bring people on this program who are conservatives running for statewide office and congressional offices, and I'm telling you now, the Republican Party and the Republican Congressional Committee is not supporting Bachmann. What does it say, phony phone caller, Sean Hannity?
Thank me, Uncle Mark.
How are you, my brother?
Who am I? Who am I?
Joe Biden?
Yes, bingo, you win a prize. A Diet
Let me
Coke.
tell you, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Your coverage on Fox has been unbelievable. I mean, really, after the debate.
Thank you.
It's not just that. Before these debates, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, your shows have been unbelievable. They can only get better if I come on, but I'm not coming on. But that's your problem, not mine.
David Limbaugh comes on, or a friend, and you don't
great.
come on.
He's
what is
great.
up with that, dude?
You know what's up with it? You know where I'm going after this show? I'm getting some Chinese food. I'm not putting makeup on to do TV.
You can't put a little powder on that bald head and just come on TV for 5 minutes.
What about your fake hair? Tell everybody. Go ahead.
It's real. What was it that you told me I'm not allowed to talk about? Do you remember? I do.
No, but I will tell you this. Did you see Biden? Biden has had a facelift. Biden has had his... Hold on now, let me finish. Biden's had his teeth bleached. Yeah. Biden doesn't even have his own hair in his head. The hell's going on with this guy?
Oh, I got my teeth knocked out when I fell down 3 stories off a roof as a contractor, so my bottom teeth are kind of phony, too.
Well, that explains the kind of
that explains my conservatism. I got some sense knocked into me.
Okay, yes.
Look, this president is unhinged, this vice president, and I got to tell you, it's scary. We're going to interview. I'm going to ask Dick Cheney about this tonight, because I don't really, they always talk about one heartbeat away from the presidency. I think this guy's going off the rails.
Can I ask you a question? Has Biden ever released his medical records?
Not that I know of.
We know what his transcripts are. We know he was a flunky. But I'm talking about his...
He liked Neil Kinnock a lot.
Yeah, he stole his stuff. Stole from a lot of people.
By the way, I noticed that there's a lot of these backbenchers that steal from you.
Yes, I know who they are.
I know who they are. I know what time they're on.
Are you starting to cause... Why are you causing trouble? Stop it. Stop it.
And I also know that then they accuse you of stealing from them.
Hold on,
after they stole from you.
How's the Fox family? Everybody still loving one another?
Yeah, everybody's loving each other.
Mm-hmm.
We got Dick Cheney's on tonight. I'm very curious as to how he interprets this, because he's a serious man, and I'm sure he's
probably
not
disgusted.
How could you not be disgusted?
I don't know. I'm disgusted, aren't you?
I was, for a while last night, Mark, I was using Twitter. I was being Tweety Bird out there, to use your term, and I was tweeting during the debate, and I actually wrote, "This isn't funny anymore." No. It's not funny that the Vice President of the United States can't control himself, that showing signs of being emotionally unstable.
I got 40 seconds.
That's not funny to me.
No, you know what I did? I got so fed up, I zapped a couple of hot dogs and ate them. Now, let me ask you this. I got 30 seconds.
All stress and pressure, a couple of hot dogs?
Sometimes. 30 seconds, seriously.
Yeah.
Who else is on your program tonight?
We got Dick Cheney, Pat Buchanan, Charles Krauthammer, Brem Bozell, Eric Bolling, our buddy. And we're going to go over these. You see these poll numbers in Virginia, where you live, and
we're going to win Virginia.
What?
Yeah, they're very good. I'm not a poll guy, but I think we are going to win Virginia and Florida.
Yeah, I think
really
we're going to. Look, I'm most worried about, as I have been from day one, Ohio. But we got to win Virginia and we got to win Florida. That's all there is to it. And I think all the momentum has shifted towards Governor Romney. I think the fact that the president and vice president are only up in 8 states, tells us a lot. And that is people are looking for another solution.
Well, turnout's everything, as you know, my friend.
Yeah, turnout's everything. All right, so get all those Levinites out there as you Levinitize them one by one. Get them out there to vote. Vote early, vote often.
All right, listen.
In Chicago somewhere.
Don't wear the pink tie. It's a little off-putting. All right, my friend.
I'll wear red tonight in your honor.
All right. God bless you. My buddy Sean Hannity, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Fox News Channel. Now, folks. A healthcare takeover burdening Americans with over $500 billion in new taxes, 4 straight years of spending trillions of dollars we don't have, billions wasted on phony green energy jobs like Solyndra, and months of high unemployment, all examples of an agenda that's failing American families, a failing agenda that must come to an end. And my friends at Americans for Prosperity, they're hard at work educating the country about these failing policies, and they need your help. Go to failingagenda.com and learn how you can effectively educate your neighbors and family about this failing agenda. And while you're there, check out when AFP will be in your neighborhood with their Failing Agenda tour. Go to failingagenda.com and start being part of the solution, which you are. The failures just keep piling up. We need an agenda that will lead America to prosperity, not one that puts us deeper in debt. Visit it now. Check it out. Failingagenda.com. That's failingagenda.com, paid for by our friends at Americans for Prosperity.
Mark Levin.
Folks, it's no secret here. I'm no fan of the Speaker of the House, Boehner, and he owes his speakership to you, the grassroots, and he has very little respect for you as he's cutting his deals left and right. And I don't think it's any secret that he does not like Michele Bachmann. And I can't prove this, but I believe it, that Boehner and company are behind this effort to make sure she doesn't receive any support from the National Republican Party offices. And they're succeeding. So we need to fill the gap. It's MichelleBachmann.com. Michelle with 1 L, Bachmann with 2 N's. MichelleBachmann.com. We need to send her back to the House, folks. America by Ray Charles, for you.
Oh, beautiful. Proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and ever again divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties, over the fruited plain. But now wait a minute.
All right, we're running out of weekends. Please get on the phone or somehow talk to your family and neighbors. We need to crush our opponents. Ignore the polls, whether they're up or down. Ignore the static. We need the votes, the votes, the votes. Thank you, our heroes. Thank you, my friends. Good night, Spritey. Good night, Griffey. Good night, Pepsi. Good night, America.